You're listening to the Devil Dog Talk Show.
This show contains explicit material and is recommended for ages 18 and older for mature audiences only. But hey, it's the internet.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Devil Dog Talk Show. Today, there we go, Joey. Today they have Lisa LaBelle. Am I pronouncing that right?
You are, yes, thank you.
So awesome. I read that so often throughout this time, and I'm like, is it LaBelle? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not. I asked my wife, she's Mexican. She was like, no, I'm positive it's not. So really cool, really great to meet you. I'm so excited to discuss you and your journey and kind of how you got into, not just in comedy, but the tech space. So thank you for coming on. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Joey. I just have to go back to you asking your wife. You're like, my wife knows another language, so maybe she'll be able to. Yeah. No, LaBelle is French, close to Spain, So, but yes, thank you. Like you asked your wife about it. That's great.
Because she also speaks French, and she will be like, legit, like that's a French name. So as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah.
And fantastic.
What happens when you ask your wife questions?
And you listen. Oh.
And learn, right? We don't touch and we learn. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And again, I'm really excited to kind of dive right on into it. So how did you start your journey in the comedic space? How did you get your, I want to say, foot in the door like that?
I got started, about 3.5 years ago, and in the comedy space. And we can just take this on back to a kid with the technology piece. I have always been interested in technology. I got my hands on a popular science magazine, Popular Science, Popular Mechanics magazines, and my grandfather would take them from the doctor's office and bring them to me. And because my mom, she became, like, I grew up Catholic, but then she became like a radical Christian when I was about 6 or 7. And that meant everything is the devil. So anything that advances human civilization is the devil. That's just how it is. So we're not, I had to hide Popular Mechanics magazines under my mattress. Like kids were, hiding smut under their mattress back then. But I was just enamored with robots and the thought of space travel. Like these magazines would have these elaborate, vibrant pictures on the front. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but of spaceships, kind of like a Jetson type thing where they're going up to Mars and exploring new planets, and you have robots at home, and just I'm like, oh my God, like that's going to be the world that I'm going to grow up in. And it wasn't. It just seemed to take forever. But so I was just enamored with it, and ever since a kid. And life kind of brought me a different path. I went to school for communications and public relations, and I never seemed to get into the technology space. And then I met my now husband, and I had an opportunity. We lived in Pennsylvania, then we moved to Georgia right when COVID hit. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll go back to school. I'll get a master's in aerospace engineering. And I'm like all set to do that. And my husband said, hey, why don't you try doing like this comedy thing I've always talked about. I've always wanted to be an entertainer. We got Robin Williams, Jim Carrey. These guys I was watching them when I was really little. And I'm like, dude, they get that's incredible. They get paid to do this. Like that's amazing. It just seems so out of touch for me. And so my husband was like, why don't you try doing that? And since I had a love of aerospace engineering and science and tech, I thought, maybe I'll just blend the two, and hence was born the technology comedian. So that's how I am today. I started my podcast 1.5 years ago, and I didn't know anything about hardware or how to do anything like that. And so then I went and I looked to AI to help me do everything and set everything up. And it did. So I'm just a big proponent of AI and technology. My brain also thinks in Warner Brother cartoons. So whenever I'm researching, I do like 20 hours of research a week just to stay ahead of things and catch myself up. And whenever I read about anything new happening, it's like there's going to be an anvil falling on a robot somewhere in my thoughts of like researching things. So there's a coyote chasing a robot or something's going on in my head, and it just kind of comes out. And through my research, is created my stand up and also my podcast material. So I'm just really loving combining the two. I just have such a passion for um, AI and technology, and because it goes back to a kid. Like, hey, why has this world been taking so long to get here? Like, why? Yeah, I feel like we should be having spaceship. Like, we should be able to go up to Mars on vacation. Like, what? You know? So it's finally in reach. It's finally I'm seeing all the technology that comes about, that is coming about right now. It's getting finance. The other piece of it too. I have a background in finance. I worked in finance for a few years, including at Morgan Stanley on a high net worth group. And I'm very interested in when I research these companies. I want to know if they're getting finance, if they're able to execute their vision, and when all of that comes together, it just blows my freaking mind. And I just really respect anybody who is able to engineer these things or understand things like heliophysics or material science. Like, I really respect people who really understand it. But I talk about it in my own unique way and make it fun. So my whole goal is to talk about this technology and sorry, my phone is vibrating. Wow, all the distractions in the world.
Technology is getting at you. Yeah.
It's vibrating me like my like my Apple Watch. I don't do you have an Apple Watch?
No.
So it does this thing if you're sitting for too long, it tells you to stand up, and that thing will shake you right out of rigor mortis. It's like stand up. It's like good.
My wife uses one. I don't know. I love technology in the sense that it does make life a lot easier. And I love the depth of your character and just your connection, not just with technology, but comedy, because to me it's a great thing to have, right? Is to look for those developmental things and to grow and develop and look and learn and to keep an open mind because we don't know what's next, right? Like back in the 90s, people were like, "Oh, the internet's just a phase. It's just a fad. It's just a trend." It's like, well, no, it's a trillions of dollars industry. So I don't know, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's great that there's so much development with AI too. There has to be a lot of conversations. And when we talk about technology and entertainment, Ben Affleck just sold his company. I can't remember the name of it. And him and Matt Damon are doing a production company now.
Yep.
It's really interesting where things are shaking and moving. Paramount's looking to move. They're a lot of the studios are looking to bring up LED walls, right?
Mhm.
There's so many different integrations where AI technology that even where I go back to medicine is like key, right? The Da Vinci came out many years ago now, and it's one of the most successful robots ever
Mhm.
engineered, right? And when you look at what you're doing, it makes it palatable, right? The Big Bang Theory really kind of developed that I want to say that conversation very well, right? There were so many intellectuals in the past, but I think the Big Bang Theory really made it to where, look, you can have fun while being intelligent, right? You can make fun of things, you can have a unique sense of humor, you can be yourself, you can be quirky, and that's what I think is so awesome about anything related to higher level learning, whether it is in the arts or in STEM or anything else. Anytime you go to those opportunities, like for finance, for you're engaging in something that opens the door to something that we never know what could potentially be. And so I love that, when you bring up the financing aspect, it's really interesting to talk to people in that environment, because I would say that's one of the corporate mindset is one of the last remaining comedic tie-ins that I think we desperately need. Um, things like
Good
The
point.
Office did it very well, but what you do and what all these great shows and these constructs of comedic representation or expression do is it builds that bridge for people to go ahead and walk through. Hey, if it's too much, go ahead, walk over this way. Walk back over your side of the gap or whatever, right? And there's so much time to I won't say time, but maybe there's so much opportunity to make an effort constructively as a community, right? Whether it's technology and medicine, whether it's technology and art or entertainment, whether it's comedy and technology, I love it. I'm all jazzed about it. My kids are hardcore into robotics, so it's very much I'm over here looking up to them, and they're having conversations where I'm just like, whoa, what is it's at times. So I kind of want to ask you, when you started the comedy scene, right? What was that first experience like for you?
Yeah, and I think that's cool. Your kids are into robotics. That's how old are they?
11 and 14. And yeah,
Oh, fun. Oh,
trying
yeah.
ninth and
Yeah,
all this stuff.
that's cool. I love to hear that. My nephews are into that too. And I they humor old Aunt Lisa. Like old Aunt Lisa over here, they humor me. But I'll be like, "Oh, what happened? What happens when the robot comes alive? You have to be nice to Alexa." And they're just like, "Oh, it's a machine, Aunt Lisa." So, but I love they humor me, and I think it's great that young people are into robot. It's just becoming a part of their life now, right? It's
Exactly.
that's what life's gonna be. And sorry, I didn't mean to diverge from your question.
No, you're good.
Sorry. You asked what it was like first coming onto the scene with
Yeah,
it.
when your first experience, I want to say in comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interest so I knew it was going to be hard. Um Trying to bridge the gap between taking something so technical, maybe something that people just have like a top level understanding of, um and like taking this very technical thing and breaking it down into a joke that a lot of people would understand. And I still am working on that. I've gotten a lot better at it, but that was very people. I realize a lot of people don't like AI.
They
They
don't.
do. So when I was going up to do some jokes about AI, there was not a great response. So they don't like robots. It's very there's a very dystopian, like a Black Mirror type
Mm.
um image around it. And I'm not blaming anyone. If that wasn't my job, if I was just like trying to do my job and do life, take care of my kids, and I'm not like trying to think about, and then all I really know is what I've seen from these movies or like read in an article. I mean, like owls have better PR than AI. Like owls are wise. No, they're not. They're like they're not smart at all. But we're told they're wise, and then they have like remember the owl and the I don't know if you remember the owl and the how many licks does it take, but
Oh,
like so
absolutely.
there's
Yeah.
like it has candy too, so owls are great. It's like no man, there's better birds out there, I promise. But AI, yeah, like the Hollywood just kind of took the reins on the narrative, and why not? Yeah, make it interesting, make it something people are going to watch, which is dystopian. So I'm going out there, I'm trying to tell jokes, and everyone's like, this thing is going to take our jobs. This is going to kill us. I find no good in this. And there's like this girl up there trying to tell a joke about it. So that was interesting to navigate. And the only way to navigate it is to go out and get in front of these people. And for me, it was I just had to keep trying and trying and trying. I needed people to throw me into the fire with it, and I did. I'm fortunate. I had some great people, owners of clubs who were like, "Hey, I'm just throwing you on. You're going to do 10 minutes." It's like, holy smokes. So I needed people to do that for me to build a tough skin and to understand how I need to go about writing these jokes so that they made sense. So that was the hardest. I know you didn't ask me what the hardest thing was, but you asked me what it was like. That's what it was like. That it was yeah, of course. And it's like it's gonna be hard, right? It's gonna be hard anyway. But I didn't realize specifically like that's what was gonna be hard about it. So doing my podcast has helped me break things down. What I do, all my research is kind of high level in the weeds, going down rabbit holes so that I can understand it and then bring it up to the bird's eye view level of what's interesting about this technology, what's fun, what's funny. And so it's helped me with my jokes and, taking it out into the real world in front of a real crowd and kind of like breaking it down. So it's been a great journey. It's been fun. Yeah, and that's my goal is I always thought even if I wasn't interested in a subject, when someone infused humor into it or like their own ridiculous, absurd thoughts, I was interested. I'm interested in this now, so
A good hook, right? Absurdity is always a good hook for intelligent people because it's like shooting up a flare, right? That's kind of where I fall in love to absolutely dry, sarcastic humor. And I think a lot of people that do look into things to feel that sense of dry humor. Because like you're saying, if it's something as disassociated for people like AI, I think that's the problem with speculation in industry right now is that we're hyperventilating about AI and there's no communication about what data centers are and are not. And the way we're going about it, okay, I've done a lot of things in the government with government officials, all the different stuff you could imagine. And what I'm learning is it's not so much the goal, right? Jesus Christ, take the bullet train here in California, for instance, okay? It's not the technology that we don't want. We don't want the outcome like the bullet train that exists in California. Okay. It's $35 billion, but hey, do we have no, it's only 35 feet worth of track. I was like, how? How is this? How are we? What are we doing? Right. And
perfect. We're right on time. We just need some more money.
right. Just throw money at it. And I think that's where technology is at right now because nobody knows what to do with it. And since everybody has a product of AI or some form of it or this or that, and it's really based off of tools like LLM and all these other thingies that I can learn about, but I still don't fucking understand them, right? All I know is you put thingy in and it could process thingy out. But that does not change the spirit of what you're putting in or what you're taking out. And if your interpretation of what it is skewed, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, flock cameras get a bad rap, right? And
Oh yeah.
what I think though is it's also a very poor method of implementation. They didn't go through the appropriate processes of integrating a system like that into the masses. They went kind of, I don't even want to say around the way you're supposed to. They went right through the back door. And that's kind of where a lot of people do get upset with technology, AI. And then once emotions get involved, it turns into you could have the best fucking routine in the matter in the world, and it wouldn't matter. You could just sit there and be like, "Hey, what's the difference between Claude and Grok?" About an inch and a half. I don't, I don't know.
Yeah. No, that Joey, that's such a good point about you brought up a few good points, but the way like the Flock CEO, I just heard him on being interviewed on a podcast and he admitted he's like, I'm terrible at PR. Like I didn't implement it right. And that's a big thing. Also, I see it's funny because I came into this with this comedy tech thing. Like, I'm very much for AI. Like, if you're against it, you have to open your mind and get a better perspective. But now I'm realizing I need to open my mind and realize, with data centers, okay, it takes less water than a golf course, but data centers require fresh water. Golf courses don't. Like, the electricity thing, like, it will sell the electricity back to the grid. How about you just give it back to the grid? Like, so there's, but on the flip side, this is just an example of one thing that I'm not gung ho either way. I see both sides. The flip side is China is just push full steam ahead. And if we do not excel our AI, like, people don't think, like, why wouldn't China take control? Like, why wouldn't you? Why would you not take control? Do you really want that to happen, guys? Like, so if you don't want that to happen, then we have to allow these data centers, on Earth. I'm all about the orbital data center, but not everybody has the means, like Elon Musk, to put them up in space. He's trying to put them up in space. I think we should. There's the sun isn't just a endless grid up there. We should not be taxing our grid, but we need to get ahead on AI. We need to continue to train it. And in order to do that, we have to build data centers. So I'm like totally torn on it, but it's fine. Like, I have a character. Do you want to know this character?
Oh, absolutely.
His name's Dion, and Dion, he always starts. He walks around like this.
Uh-huh.
Now Dion, he is all against the data centers, and we're with him, right? Where he has these big scissors that he goes and he cuts the electricity off, and he puts the stuff in the water so it's not fresh. So the closed loop system gets all screwed up, and now your car is taking you the wrong direction because it can't compute. So Dion, and he's got a group of people, and it's like, that's great. But then you find out Dion has a mission. He has an event coming up, and now you have to all gather in the Dakotas, and it's like, wait a minute, what? And it's like some underground place in the Dakotas, and that's where he's called it the Sacagawea event. We're like, well, Sacagawea's cool. She's cool, right? And then you realize, like, all his followers are colorblind, and he puts a ribbon around their arm, and it happens to be red. And you're like, wait a minute. It's like it's the character. Dion is the character where you're with him in the beginning. You're like, yeah, that's right. And then you find out he's crazy, and it's like, oh crap, that's Dion. So it's like I don't know. It's with some things like data centers. It's like, yeah, I see both sides of it.
It's a very unique perspective, right? Because there are so many characters like that out there in the world right now, in every space. Like, you can't throw anything in any direction and not hit the wall with this, because one, you're right, people are very much emotional and confused, and they don't understand the geopolitical and economic influence that AI has right now. And then we haven't even talked about quantum computing, right? All the different things in the quantums, right?
The quantum world.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where I don't think I need to understand it, right?
You need a lot of copper for the quantum world,
right? Like, I need to put what is it called? There's this dude on Instagram where he wears like the copper with jewels, and I'm like, that's interesting. Like, people believe in shit, but I just don't know what it is or how it applies. And that goes back to, cognitive biases and theories and even religion, right? Where I am always going to support anybody's freedoms, right? Period, right? But when we have people making decisions, right, that think UFOs are demons, right, or quantum computers communicate with demons, and I'm going to ask the world to just take a fucking chill pill for a minute, because one, we don't have a hoverboard. Okay. That's my number one. Okay. And two, We don't have room temperature blood. This is something me and Don Myricks were talking about at the beginning of the year. Room temperature blood, right? Medically speaking, that would be the bee's knees. I mean, just ways that nobody thinks about it. And that's kind of the nuance of not just technology, but growth and development. Um, Ideas, right? People thought Van Gogh was an idiot. He sold one painting, right? Died, boom. Now look at him everywhere. Why? Because we don't know what we have sometimes, right? People don't understand the opportunities we have within AI. I see it particularly as a person that has severe disabilities, right? From serving the United States of America in the capacity that I did. I see it as the only answer to a system that's receiving something around the world like in the past 30 years, $4.5 trillion. Okay, so the taxpayer they're everybody's on the fence in one way or the other. They're all for it, they're all against it. And the people in leadership right now, they're going about it kind of in the same way we did about social media, right? We don't know what it is, we don't know why it is, but everybody's trying to get their valuations at billions of dollars and exit before really there's any actual tangible product. I mean, if I saw that as an investor, I'd be like, you're fucking conning me, right? You're about to carpet pull this little coin here, right? Called an AI. And we do that in so many different things, and we don't invest in the infrastructure. So when we talk about data centers, the first thing I think about, of course, is water. Well, what is water? Where do we get it? Who owns it? What's the rights? What's the breakdown? If we have it pre-negotiated, but why aren't we negotiating terms in a way where, I don't know, data centers pay the American people a net profit, right? Or a net benefit or a net positive, right? And this is where the word shareholder and stakeholders really get people's underneath their cuticles. I swear to God, like a hangnail, right? Because when you say that, oh, the law that we have to abide by, and this is everybody in finance, everybody in politics, everybody that's relevant to either stopping this thing or making it actually better, they don't stop and think. They don't go, well, how do I better communicate the opportunity? Because it's not really their interest point. Their interest point is getting reelected. Their interest point is financial. And the incentives aren't aligned with, I want to say, derivatives of an outcome that is net positive for the people, because it's like, well, they're just going to come into the town and suck it dry. This is what's happening in so many different areas with agriculture. This is what happened when the water rights were actually negotiated back in the 70s here in California in Monterey. So it's one of those weird, complicated problems that certain people have, a seat at the table and certain people don't. But AI, technology, space, travel, all of this stuff, like you were talking about at the beginning, that dystopic relationship between, and this is the reason why I really want to work on that corporate thing, is the dystopic relationship between what we think that they are and what we are actually. If we were to work together, we would be flying back and forth to Mars, but we'd be like, oh my God, Lisa, look at that amazing U-tan. Where'd you go? I went to the South Beach of Mars.
I'm ionized now. My pee looked like a lightsaber. It's great.
I love your glow so much. That would get the real glow up, right?
The ultimate glow. Forget the glow peptide.
Right?
I just go get ionized on Mars.
But that's the thing I think about late at night is how do we communicate better as a culture, a community, as a species? All of the people that I think can do better, I always have an open door for. The Elon Musks, the Peter Tills, then you name it, right? And I don't see it as a negative PR situation, because you're right. The guy came out, the flock thing, and apologized. And one of the most interesting factors were, he goes, I don't know if you use this word, but he goes, I was delusional or illusioned about how good police officers are. Okay. And that's a normal thing. Okay. That's
You did
normal.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the normal thing, is what do we take at face value routinely? If you're a doctor, we think you're the best doctor. Nobody needs to know that you graduated with D minuses, because that's the way doctors work. Right.
Right.
Technology development. Right. Everybody really talks shit about China, and I'm like, dude, China's, have you gone there? I haven't, but I've seen some stuff where the 22nd floor is also the first floor, and at the same time everybody's driving around and it looks cleaner than San Diego. So I'm like, look, it's got maybe not even a quarter of the population in Shenzhen,
Mm-hmm.
San Diego, the whole county of San Diego, probably, and LA put together. And that
Mm-hmm.
the places look so amazing. And I go, so what are we doing? Because the Chinese population is doing this, right? And as an American who's served and sacrificed and seen so much just for us to have these kind of conversations, I go, why aren't leaderships, why aren't people of power really trying to do better? It seems like they wake up in the morning and go, oh, this is what I think will work, instead of going, hey, subject matter expert, hey, team of people. It's really much. I go back to the theory of one of my buddies actually told me this. If the only tool you have is a hammer, then everything looks like a nail, right? And that's the situation of our investments as a nation. I wish it was better, I really do. But that's kind of where I really want to ask you right now. When you go, you do your comedy thing, and you're going to these corporate things, and you're doing your comedy stuff. What is it like actually getting involved at that level at these events, and actually just sharing your creative side, but also your passion about both?
Well, wherever I go, I like to bring positivity. So, um, and I like to focus on what we can change as individual contributors. So, and how we can use these tools to level us up. So, that's how I talk about the technology, and that's how I do, like, some of my jokes are a little call it like tongue in cheek, but a little like, I kind of have a joke. Have you seen the clips of the robots in the like the UFC rings, and they have them fighting now? There's these like underground robot fights.
Are you shitting me?
No, actually, San Francisco is like a really big place for this. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God, are you serious? Is like BattleBots like legit?
It's real life Rock'em Sock'ems. Oh yeah,
Dude.
you get your teleoperate. Like, my whole joke is around this, and it's kind of like, so we built, like, okay, let's build this, like, let's invest in all this money and making this incredible neural net, that's so smart, and can help, like, the disabled and the elderly and the sick be independent, right? Let's do that. But that's not fun. It's fun? Putting them in rings and fighting them. That's fun. so I kind of, it's like I kind of juxtapose things, and but at the same time, I love it. It's like Idiocracy. It's the movie, if you've seen the movie, but it's like, it's so, some things are so absurd. You just have to, like, sit back and with your coffee and just, like, enjoy the ridiculousness of everything.
Absolutely.
But
That's so amazing. I want to watch a video of that, and or go to an event of this, because before the radicals who are gonna be like, what robot rights? I'll be like, okay. You know what? There was a Twilight Zone show back in the day, the older Twilight Zone, not the new one, Jordan Peele.
hmm
Okay, there's an episode talking exactly what you're talking about, robots that fight. And the dude that owns the robot busts up and it can't work. And he goes, fights in the ring against the robot because he was desperate. It's an amazing Twilight Zone episode. And as soon as I don't know, my brain doesn't work. Okay, it works in a weird way. And I think that's the reason why I'm so stoked about technology. Because exactly what you said about, disabled people. I'm in the wheelchair now. I use my walker, and I would love to have more independence. Like the workload that my wife takes for the past 13 years, before I get emotional about it, right, is profound, right? And
hmm
the opportunity to find technology, apps, calendars, scheduling things, reminders, stuff that takes me, because I usually have diarrhea of the mouth, right? And I'm just like, all these things are going off in my brain. Listen. And people are like, oh my God, you've been going for 3 hours. And that's
Yeah.
why I fell in love with podcasting, because people would be like, oh my God, that's what's up. 3 hours of what's up. And I'm like, oh my God, my wife is like 2.5 minutes. You're done. Push the button. Well, come on. What's wrong? Give me the log line. Come on, choppity chop. She actually says choppity chop, and I'm like, okay. Like people think I'm really good with people, right? And I'm like, yeah, but just wait until my wife tells me to hurry it up. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
the doctor said this. What a idiot. Okay, I'll get on top of it. Okay, thank you, babe. Okay, and I go about my thing. But the technology, okay, has saved us time and time again, right? And that's the reason why when I tell people like, hey, there's not just speculation, there's movement on the theory of the individual business with AI that to break billions of dollars, billion, probably even more, right? We're talking about in fields where we don't even think exist yet, right? There's a company that I'm working to conversate about and within the veteran community that there's multiple veteran communities that deal within the AI, whether it be for veterans benefits or other things. I think that's the only one I've seen though. And we're talking about an economic market capture for one individual corporation. This is the report that I've seen, $10 million a month. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say that's not that much money. That's a fuck ton of money. But the market capture is we're talking about less than 1% of the American population. Okay. And in that, you got 19 million men and women that have served this country. And only 6.2 of them actually participate in an entity called the VA that receives nearly $500 billion in the last 30 years, $4.5 trillion. Okay. Why is it that there's even a concept like an AI company that is not only has a business or a service? One, they're doing a great job from what I heard and what I can see. But two, why does it exist in a world where Americans are paying out the asshole in tax dollars? And then again, the veterans now have to pay again just to get what they've earned and everything else. And here's the answer, and I want to go about it in a different way. AI is both the problem and the solution. When we actually, leverage accurate prompting and communication, it actually reveals to me the same issues that human beings have. We don't think clear or long term. We're not looking at the gestalt of situations, like you said. Take a step back and look at it and watch people like these, right? And say,
Yeah.
hey, what are we doing? P.S. Also, and here's some amazing solutions and a comedic way to bring it out. Amazing events. There's, Oracle has an amazing electronic medical health record. I want to say project, and it's in execution. They got a $35 billion contract over the years, and it's looking to balloon out to 50 billion. We were originally sold on 10 billion. Okay. End of product delivered, all the VAs. Everybody's not a pilot program, not a hoping, okay, an executable, tangible product. And that's the reason why I love technology, right? I love people that, I've met so many amazing people out in San Francisco. One of our major sponsors is Podomatic. They're out in San Francisco. And one of the things that I love about AI is exactly this. You have the solution and you also have the problem. And if we work on the human aspect of what's going on, much like firearms, okay, much like all the other aspects, suicide, depression, obesity, right? Anything you could imagine, right? If we work on the human aspect, I really see us as a species ballooning in a way in the near future where like I said, I get excited because when I was watching a bit of your show, I think it was on YouTube or something. I go, okay, like this isn't. Oh, I know everything, and you're gonna learn from me like that authoritarian bullshit. It's check this shit out. It's fucking cool, right? So I really love the way that you present the material, and I kind of wonder what is right now, in your opinion, the coolest technology or coolest thing that you see up and coming.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, you were saying so many things I wanted to hit on and ask you quite a
You
follow-up
can go
question,
back.
but
Just I always try to end up on a question.
yeah. I want to know about the A and the Oracle thing, but I uh thank you for your service. And I come from both grandparents served in World War II, my uncles Vietnam. Um my uncle actually passed from Agent Orange, and so I'm a huge supporter of the military, the veterans. I was actually in OCS for a little bit. I thought I was going to be a Marine a Marine officer. And then I was in a finance job at that time, getting up, at 4 a.m. doing the training. And when I went to do the O course, like I came back, my ribs were all bruised up because the log that you had to jump over, I'm so short, it hit right at the ribs. And I was like, oh my God. And then like all the other things, but I'm like, and then I actually got my boss decided to give me, she's like, hey, why don't we, upgrade you to a office with a window? And I'm like, with that versus OCS. And I'm like, I think I'm going to just go the finance route. But I totally support everything that the veterans do. And so thank you for that. My father-in-law, he was in Vietnam, and he goes through the VA for all of his stuff. And it's a racket sometimes. And he has back problems and things like this. And I'm just like, AI can make this so much better. But like you said, there's billions of dollars, trillions of dollars being poured into this. Where is it go? Like, what are you guys doing? This should be way better than it is. Exactly. But anyway, sorry, I went and drifted. I drift. We're gonna bring it back. We're bringing it.
We're gonna drift, then we're drift right back in.
We're gonna bring it drift right back in, and
drift it right back.
Drift it right back. And yep, we're on a tube. We're gonna drill. It popped, and now we're coming back. That's what's happening. My goal, yeah, it's definitely not for this technology, my podcast and everything. I realize I don't know everything. I can barely wrap my head around half of even how any of this works. Like it is so I don't want anyone to think that I know any more than anybody else. And I'm not here to be like, I'm so smart. I don't build these things. Like I talk about robots a lot. I'm like just very interested in robots. I'm very interested in the cybersecurity aspect of it. And just a lot of like, how is it trained? How is it programmed? The hardware, all these things. And I don't, maybe I know enough to be dangerous, I say. I know enough to be dangerous about everything, but definitely not, I want people to have fun and when they watch my clips and maybe learn in the way of, oh, there's this technology out there that's interesting, but not learn like, I know more, I want it to be fun. And also like, if there's any way to apply the technology to them, like my most recent podcast was about Instacart, not, that's not fun. Is Instacart, who, you have to food shop. People hate food shopping, but they bought a company called Caper AI, and they made these carts, smart carts. And I'm like, why do I need a smart cart with a NVIDIA chip? What, $1,200 chip? Or like why do I need this? Well, it's the technology. I go on to explain, why it would be beneficial to you as a just an everyday shopper, a commoner, or whatever. It can help link things. It can help you. Like sometimes my Alexa will say, hey, you bought cat litter a month ago and you're due to buy another one. And sometimes I get so annoyed, but then I look and I'm like, oh, I need more cat litter. Like, okay, that's good. I'm glad it reminded me. But yeah, so that's what this Caper cart, like, it's like, hey, I saw you bought yogurt last week. You sure maybe you want to get it again? It's like, that would be super helpful. I would also like to not have to deal with anybody. As much as I love interacting with people, I just start doing bits. Not everyone's ready for it. So, if I could just go in the store, do my thing, do the Apple Pay on the cart and leave, fantastic. So that's just an example of technology that it's like, hey, this can, I think, be a little beneficial to us. I talk a lot about robots and, it will be beneficial to people once they're able to navigate a home. I don't see that happening for another 20 years, probably. It's just going to take a lot of funding. The only people doing it right, in my opinion, in my little, who am I, right? What do I know? Is Brett Adcock at a company called Figure. And that's over there in California. And he's making some really incredible robots. He shares all the inside baseball of how he created the neural net, how these things are working. Like there's something called push recovery on it where you can push it, and it's able to come back. Like how does it do that? How does it know? Like I'm interested in how does it know gravity? It can't feel. We feel, right? We have like haptics. Like how the heck, like what's in there? How does it know where it's at in space time? So I'm just like, so he's doing all the things that are you're gonna need. Like he's going the hard route in order to make this thing really good. So is Elon with Optimus. That's his robot. He's creating his neural net the same way and training it on real world data. So you have people in like haptic suits capturing video. It's called like a memory capture. You get paid and to go around with cameras and and capture, like I'm doing dishes or whatever the heck, I'm doing the gym, I'm picking up a kettlebell, like things like that. I'm doing a podcast. So you capture all this video, and that's what Brett Adcock and Elon is training. I think Elon's doing that with Optimus. I know for sure Brett Adcock is doing that with Figure. He just came out with an announcement. He has like the biggest database of footage, like real-time footage that is being captured for that. So those two people are like the biggest people. And I'm trying. Sorry, I just went down this road, but yeah, I just like oh, well, how would that be beneficial to humans? It will be in the long run. Now we're going back to the data center. We're going to need data centers to train these robots. If you want robots in your home doing the dishes and doing your dirty laundry, we're going to need data centers. So that's how it will be beneficial to us. And then other companies like, there's these young people out there in their 20s who they're creating companies that are solving problems. And right now, it's interesting. We're shifting from, I don't know how old you are, but I went to college back in 2004. 2004. That was back in the old days. And back then, it was you go to college, you get a corporate job, you're good. You stay in that corporate job, you'll be fine. It'll be fine. But now we're switching. College is so expensive. You don't really need a college degree in most fields besides like, pre-med, law, like things, mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering, like physics and things like that. Anything else, AI can teach you. AI can teach you at this point. And everybody out there listening, don't be butthurt that your communications degree can be taught in like a week by AI. That's just how it is. I got a communications degrey. That's where we're at.
So true. It's so true. And I love how you put that, because if all of what we're doing to limit or restrict ourselves is to throttle the ability for the population to adapt, because if our technology was okay. I did a show with Darcy Weir. Okay. He does a bunch of documentaries. He's out in Canada. Amazing stuff about, the UAPs and all the UFOs and Sassy the Sasquatch. Right. And but if people were to know what is actually there, it would boil their brains, because that's where I go 100%. Even if there was aliens, what benefit is it? They're not going to help me pay my bills. Okay.
Yes.
At the end of the day, there's going to be technology implementation. I think we've been there for quite some time, but in it, if we're curtailing always for the lowest common denominator, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but maybe up our efforts in education, programs for proliferation of technology, tools and understanding. If I was in charge, I wouldn't go about it the way that a lot of these major corporations are going about it, because you're setting yourself up for failure, right? It's a flash in the pan. You get a movement. All of a sudden, you're going to get a negative reaction, which could work, right? Could stir the base to have the conversation happening to begin with. But long term, if what we're doing is something that is catastrophic to careers, because that to somebody would matter, right? It shouldn't, because then you could pivot into something different, but that's not how our species works. More so the United States, right? We have identity within workforce politics, politics in general, but workforce politics. We have identity within titleage, right? If you're a doctor, oh, don't talk to me unless you're a doctor. I'm like, well, no, you're a doctor, but you just murdered a guy because you just bolused 2 bags of IV fluids into him without reading the chart. So I mean, I don't know if that means you're worth the shit. I'm pretty sure I'm worth more on that one. Okay,
Trust the science.
exactly. Oh my God, exactly. And when you have people like that in charge of massive things, like what happened, because again, that circumstance, everybody was told what to do, what to think, and after 2 weeks, everybody was willing to do anything just to get it back to normal for 3 years. Okay. Now, after the fact, I go back to it, and if technology and science is held, if we showed each other that we can do shit like that, and everybody could do a TikTok dance almost every fucking day, all right, I'm pretty sure we can do shit like what we were talking about with AI within the Veterans Affairs systems, within medical systems, within economic feasibilities, and the development, right, infrastructure development. Okay, everybody's against more dams. I'm like, why not just make more lakes and dams and fresh water and find this and do that, or desalinate or this? Well, the money's too much. The money too much. What they don't tell you is the money is not too much. Okay, it's just not within the margin. Okay, and their margin within the shareholders construct is never to even follow the law. If you break it, then you get penalized, but you can make billions and trillions of dollars in the meantime. That's something that I was just talking to, oh my God, yeah, Adam Scorgi about. White collar crime, right? White collar, Dane Cook's brother took him for close to $14 million, I think it was. Okay.
That's, how many stories are there out there like that? It's crazy.
Exactly. And it's a slap on the wrist, right? It's a oops-a-daisy. It's a slap on the wrist. It's whatever. It's probation. The bailouts after what was it, 2008, with all the housing loans, and when the economy popped there, the real estate economy popped. We're speculating, of course, with digital coin and things moving in and all these different stuff, but what we're not seeing is the why. Why is it that leadership wants to manipulate and control simply to throttle back something that benefits the vote, in a sense of, well, we could do if I'm pretty sure there's an educational person in the United States, person like an in charge, right? And then we just go, just like the physical fitness thing every kid does, right? You could also say, hey, here's a free course. Okay, brought to you in part by 8X Entertainment, right? And boom, it's just hey, AI 101, how to use it respectfully, ethically. I think that's the biggest thing right now, is the ethically behind it. I will tell you right now, AI has been implemented since, I want to say, the 80s, maybe even there's been 80s. Artificial mechanisms. Yeah, there you go. And when we look at certain things that are literally killing people, like doctors' reports and medical records, everybody copy cuts and pastes. Okay. And what they do with the light touch is the in between, because the way that management, I want to say, legitimizes their budget is by seeing 30 people a day, 50 people a week, or whatever it is per doctor. Now, to meet the regulation, they got to finish all of their records keeping within 48 hours, or they don't get JACO certified or accredited or whatever that may have you. But when you have systems like AI that are recording the conversation, one of my providers did this, and I'm all for it, right? Recorded the conversation and can literally articulate not only the key talking points of what the doctor is thinking, compare it to the medical record, as well as what the patient's experiences are. And it could do it in a matter of fucking nanoseconds. Okay.
Yeah. That there's a hospital system here that does that too. I'm like, yep. That's what, yeah.
Amazing.
Because it's hard. Like, we actually had to just do this thing. My husband, he used to play football. He's older than me. But he played football in high school, which means he played football when like you got concussions and your coach is like, "Walk, here's a juice box, walk it off." It's like, "Oh, your knee is bent the other way. That's all right. Take a sleep. It will turn around at night and then it will be there turned around in the morning. You come back. You come back, run some drills."
Make sure you show up to practice tomorrow, okay, bud?
Yeah, show up to practice tomorrow. We'll just wrap it up. It'll be fine. But he screwed it up. Now he has end stage arthritis in it. And so but we had to go through this whole system, and it's like you talk to the medical assistant who does the triage, and then you talk to the doctor, and it's like, didn't I just say all this? And I said, well, let's get our story tight, because when you talk to people and you give a lot of information, unless you're a doctor or a good doctor, some people, and like we all do this, have a hard time parsing out like the important stuff, or like you're holding on to the last concept, and then the person keeps talking concept. I feel like it's like a line. It's like, so it's like, let's get the story tight. It's like if we had a AI that could just record the conversation, take all of those talking points, and kind of like you were saying, how it picks the information out, it goes ahead and it looks at the chart and kind of like matches things up. So that's, yeah, and I'm just like, we're in 2026. Why has this not, like, what are we doing? Well, I'm gonna be a skeleton by the time, like, I just was born before my time, I think. But
You say that perfectly. I worked in research and development, and it was very interesting with the Army, the Navy, and a bunch of, non-government agencies, whatever they're called. And the really interesting part about it is exactly what you're saying. It took, okay, last year, I can't remember perfectly. Okay, give me a break. Last year, around wintertime, Larkin's dad, a Navy SEAL dude, passed away a while ago for suicide. And then his father was looking into it. He's also a Navy SEAL. And when he went, I don't know how this got to 60 Minutes, but 60 Minutes did a special on it about his brain. So Larkin donated his brain for research. I've worked in a lot of different capacities in medicine where I've seen how these things go about, right? Extractions, organ tissue, preservation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And one, it's a painful process for me realizing that this is what's happening. The son, the father, both served, and this is what the result is. But the result was profoundly shocking. The microvasculature showed within the gray and white matter actual vascular tissue damage, right? Microvascular tissue damage. We're not talking about emotional disruption. We're not talking about this or that. And CTE and football injuries and concussions, blast wave energy, all this different stuff adds to it. Bumps, bruises, bangs. Your brain is a little nugget, okay? And it doesn't take hits in every direction that well. Just the front of the head, which is still not good, and then the back right here where there's a little bit of a calcium deposit. Everything else just gets penetrated, right? So your brain has these microvasculatures that could be damaged within clots or clumps or whatever is distributing your little neurovasculature, right? And as you age, there could be detrimental symptoms, right? So there now physiological proof. Okay, the sad part is now 60 Minutes and the father and a donation or foundation are doing reviews on specialized MRI analysis, right? When you do that, right, you're not going to get an entity like the Veterans Affairs who has the money to invest in something like this, or the military invest in something that would validate a physiological injury, because then it changes the liability, right? The presumptive of PTSD and CPTSD is that it's an emotional, we can't prove it, it's psychological. It's the same thing that happened with Agent Orange. So when you brought that up, there's so much aspects to what's happening, not just technology wise, why it's being limited, but financially, why is it going to certain people? Why are certain nonprofits doing certain things? And when I learned back in the day when I was working at research, that a lot of it will be captured and sat on because it benefits whoever's funding certain other things, right?
of course, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a disgusting practice.
Yeah.
I worked with direct bench scientists that this is where I got my information from. They're like, man, they'll just sit on this for another 5 to 10 years. It ended up being 12 because I'm pretty sure, so more than 12. In 2012, I was meeting back with one of my research dudes that I was, or 11. That's when I got out, 2011. And we're catching up over a coffee and stuff. And he was telling me about the results of the discoveries. Um, the specific study, right? It's not my story to tell, but it was very interesting because it came about accidentally. All right, we were doing a project on certain hearing loss and hearing repair, uh, physical medications and stuff like that, and then
Interesting.
it
Mhm.
changed into this because of the mechanism of induction of injury. All right, so imagine
Mhm.
this is cutting edge shit. Like, nobody else is doing this on the planet. All right, and the scientists that were doing it were just so amazing. Like, we would talk for hours about shit while we're working on stuff, right? And I just loved hearing their passion about the science. When you really peel back the layers of that testing, though, that started in 2008, resulted in 2011 or 12. They were doing their journal at the end of it, right? That, peer reviewed stuff that goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Nobody heard about it until right now, 2024, 25, or what it was, with the 60 minutes thing. And it's relative data. So you're going like, hey, CTE, traumatic brain injury. CPTSD is actually a physiological injury, right? It's not PTSD. It's very different. And I had to learn this shit the hard way, right? They were like, yeah, dude, so you actually, it's a physical, it's a TBI because now your electroneurochemical pathways, which is a long word, is kind of routed in this way. It's like having a bunny path in the backyard. You keep beating down that road, and guess what, buddy? That's what you're entrenched in, right? And before you know it,
Wow.
this is stuff that I talk about on the show a lot because I go, imagine you're in a world where you were, doing all this different stuff, right? You're a top-notch guy, like your husband playing football, or like yourself running into logs for OCS, right? You're doing whatever you want. You're motivated. You're young. You're trying to live life, right? And the toll comes to payment, right? When we finally break down and degrade and our systems oxidize, because that's really what the basis of it all is. There's these unique experiences. One of the most, I want to say, moving stories lately is Bruce Willis and his wife.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that.
Yeah, and the reasons why is because we don't know long term what we're going to end up as. All right, banging your noodle around, I never recommend it. Right, mixed martial arts, wrestling, all this different stuff, jujitsu. It's all beautiful, right? But we need to have a better understanding of what this noodle is. What's this operating system? Much like the AI. What is sentience? What is haptic? What is these terms? How can we agree to disagree and still grow, right? And in the way where better results. Right. So I love how you put it because it's very impactful to me, right? Having your story straight when you go to a doctor. And I go, exactly. And sometimes even when you're polished, that's a red flag. So, I mean, that's the problem with society, right? If you need pain management right now, I think it's very disgusting the way that we're having that conversation as a nation towards a multitude of medicines, right? Which should be considered technology. If it's naturopathic, it's plant-based, it's fungal, whatever. I'm saying, hey, dude, $4.2 trillion. I'm pretty sure there shouldn't be a homeless veteran. There shouldn't be a sad veteran. Okay. Like, there shouldn't even be a veteran that's like, what's weird is I showed up to my appointment and they didn't, and it was a video appointment. I don't know, and that's the kind of thing that I love technology because when COVID happened, it provided a glimpse of my life since 2011. I lived my life exactly like everybody lived their lives in during COVID. I am homebound, right? All this horrible stuff falls. And when everybody ended up exactly like me, homebound, right? For like a year or two or three, everything changed. There was all of a sudden people can, deliver groceries to me and my
Yeah.
wife. This was a godsend, right? There's all of a
Yeah.
sudden there's technology for video appointments. There's things like you're saying, carts and things and smart stuff, and keeps track of what you're actually eating and not what you're not. And my wife's a NASM trained certified person as well because we never had the opportunity to get all the stuff that everybody else got. So me and her, we did it. We figured this out. I call it hip hop. Okay. For real, it's high intelligence and performance. I'm sorry, human intelligence and performance. Sometimes we're high, okay, but human intelligence and performance and human optimization. I'm sorry, human intelligence and psychology, human optimization, and performance. So hip hop. And it's been something I worked on with those doctors since 2007, right? So it was a theory that I had, right? You have these men and women that serve in capacity, and then you have a practice of medication or medicine where it's rigorous to get into the military. The majority of the population in the United States don't qualify. Okay.
Yeah.
At that, right? Okay. So one, you have to do things in a certain way even to qualify. Two, the worst part is in medical terms, you're not being compared to who you were or the qualifications or the standards from when you got in, which is you had to spread your butt cheeks at MEPS and they go, boo-hoo, right? And this is kind of the sad part is they're not everybody in the world would be like, dude, military, oh my God, that's so great, that's this, and I go, yeah, but the worst part is when it comes to looking at the physiological person, much right, like your husband's knees, the arthritic, all the different complications of certain things. When you look at that, the compounding effect, this person joined and was running 3 miles a day, okay, with 25-minute, that's slow for some people. 23-minute, eight, some people have done it. I've seen 17-minute, 73 miles. It's insane. These Marines that I served with, they can do all these kinds of stuff. I was a heavy lifter. I was a strong boy. I was always been a big boy. So when people see me in the
you look like a big build.
yeah, I was
Big bone.
big, right? Right. And one, right? And all of that stuff is like when you compare it to what medicine does. When you get out or when you go through this process of Veterans Affairs, they're not comparing you to what it took to be in. They're comparing you to a 98-year-old with testosterone of 76.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait the fuck a minute. They're comparing you to your breathing levels of a person that would be borderline COPD.
Yeah.
So there's no relative I guess any representation or understanding. And I wrote a whole research paper on this, right? I have several, but this is the one that I really fell in love with recently, more over and over again when I reread it. When I brought up hip hop earlier, I mean it in the sense that there's so many solutions, right? Technology is the answer, but more so love and effort is the answer, right? When people like me and you hop on the line like we do today, and we talk about the passions that you have, bringing your show forward, talking about life-saving technology, AI integration, comedy, levity, entertainment, and empowerment, right? By the end of the day, I hope our listeners know that there's always an option, right? There's choices to be made. And even if it feels like everybody's pressuring you in one direction or the next, stay your course, stay true to you, stay true to those principles. And that's what I really love about your comedy, right? You have that belief system belief about AI and technology, and you're sticking with it, and you're bringing it to people like me, introducing it to our audience and saying, hey, if you disagree, well, look at it this way, try it this way, try it that way. And if you're not touching it because it's scary or you don't understand it, well, then maybe we need to ask, why do you not feel safe, right? And I think in relationship to education, I want to say growth and development, providing a safe space in being not just the person saying those words, but actually following through with it and saying, hey, anytime you want to come on and share an event that you're going to, promoting a stand-up, or, want to sell some tickets or a book or whatever you got an open door for us over here at the Devil Dog Talk Show and 8X Entertainment, right? I'm so glad that we were able to wrap it up a bit today. I really enjoyed our time talking, and I kind of want to leave it off for our listeners. How do we get in contact with you and support your mission and message?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Could I just touch on one more thing? So yeah, I think that AI is, well, sticking to your truths. And I go to Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin is, for anyone who doesn't know, what would you call Rick Rubin? He coached, I guess.
Call Rick Rubin an artist?
He's definitely an artist. Yeah. But what was it, like Jay-Z and Eminem? I mean, he helped them make their music better. And and he's all about, he's like, hey, stick to the thing that you like doing. And then I also, so I do that because I have been told by multiple people that I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this way. This is not going to work. No one's going to like it. And I'm just, more to come. I'll let you know how it's going. But I'm just
Thanks, you dick.
go pound sand, and I'm just gonna keep getting on down the road. But you know, I think there's so much truth into like do what you like what you feel you want to do, and then also get better at it. Like don't be delusional. Get better at your craft. The first few takes, the first year, whatever, it's going to be crap. It just keep getting better incrementally, and you'll go to new levels. And I'm saying this like I made it to, like I'm Seinfeld over here, but that's the hope. But also like so stick to that. And the yeah, AI has helped me medically. I don't know if I've talked about maybe this on my podcast a little bit, but I had some blood work done, and the doctor did not catch some things, and it wasn't like life, it wasn't like life threatening, but it was just like, so I use AI. I use specifically Grok for like all my medical stuff. I put my blood work in it, my MRIs, everything, any ultrasounds. I put it in there. I had something so Dolly Parton just passed away, and she was known in the endometriosis community. She had endometriosis very badly. She couldn't have kids. I have endometriosis very badly, and it's debilitating. And I was at a point where I couldn't find a solution. The doctors want to do surgery. They want to take your organs. They want to, and it doesn't, like 70% or like 80% of the time, it doesn't even work. And so I went to Grok. I'm like, help me. It found a solution. It actually wrote the script out. So they said the script needs to be written like this and this amount. I went to 12 doctors until I found this old dude. He's like 70 years old. He does the Da Vinci. I specifically found a doctor who used the Da Vinci system because I knew he would be open-minded about robotics and AI. And I went to him, and I was just crying. I'm like, this is the research I did. Please help me. He helped me. He deemed it safe, wrote me the script. I have my life back. So it was a blend of AI and doctor. I think that's going to be the future. It's a hybrid of AI working with doctors. And any doctor that doesn't use AI, I think honestly it should be like malpractice at this point. But no, I think AI in the medical space is going to be incredible, and especially the private sector. Like whoever has AI cure cancer is going to be someone in the private sector, because I just can't see, like, the medical system is not built for us. It's built for profit. So
Exactly.
we're about to take a whole new direction here with it. And I'm excited about that. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that with, the medical and the brain scans. And, oh my God. Oh, when you were talking about the brain thing, did you know about this organoid? Oh my God. This organoid, it's an organoid chip, and it's basically brain cells that, oh my God.
What?
Yeah. So there's these scientists who put brain cells on a chip, and then they taught it how to play Doom. Like,
So hold on. Like human brain tissue.
yeah, human brain tissue.
So when you say that, right? Like I've said this quite a bit. The human cells contain so much data, it's ridiculous. I think a sperm cell has like trillions or millions or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say I'm obsessed with sperm cells. Sorry, I should probably the brain cell. But
I'm obsessed with this sperm cell. If you say it in like a German accent,
right, like, but the information transfer, and I think that's what's really, really important to like your brain cells. I'm kind of stuck on my words here. The egg cell and the sperm cell replicate the human being, right? And I think that's tremendous, right? We have a data transfer of trillions, I believe it is. Whatever, people have done the statistics. There's a burst of light. There's this, it's cool, right? So when you bring up the brain tissue thingy, I'm like, well, how the fuck did they make that? Like, did they start with the egg and the
I
the brain? Oh, sorry. It's just
Petri did. I think they did it in a lab under Hardee's somewhere. You know, I don't know.
Cast babies. Like, no, that's not what they did, Joey. They thought. I don't know. I'm really interested in it.
Yeah, you gotta look it up.
What if you donate your fuck me? What if you donate your brain and end up being like a chip, right?
They make whole computers as organoid intelligence. And it's like chips that are made out of like brain tissue. I don't know how ethical like, but just imagine waking up in doom and then dying.
Fucking day is doom. Like, oh my god, that would be 1990. I think 5 or 6 for me. You know, as a kid, every day we're playing on computers.
Yeah.
Give me the big shotgun. Okay. I love that game, but no, you're right. So go. Well, we got to wrap it up, but I really want to leave it on a high note with that one because it really blown my mind. Like literally, who's doing that now?
So I wonder if let me see if I can pull this. Let me see this up really quickly. I can find it. Here we go. Doomsday brain cells. Let's see. Biological computing using living human brain cells as the processor. It's not a joke. I think this is Gemini. It's not a joke. Or let's see. It's real tech from a company called Cortical Labs. Their CL1 system. They grow lab-cultured human neurons, brain cells derived from stem cells, on a silicon chip with electrodes. The cells from networks receive electrical input-output like a tiny biological CPU. It can learn tasks. In this case, 200,000 of them were trained to play a simplified version of Doom, recognizing enemies, moving, shooting, etc. Developers can literally write and deploy code to these living neurons via their biological intelligence operating system. And they offer it it's called a wetware as a service in the cloud, remote access to run experiments or code on the cells without buying hardware. That's
we do. That's so crazy.
I know.
Like, I'm really blown away by this because one of my good buddies, he's really into technology and AI. We've had tons of questions. He wrote a great book. I'm reading it, Tommy. Calm down, okay?
What's the book? Let's plug it.
I can't yet, okay? But
okay.
We're working on it.
We'll plug it later.
Confidence up, right? But it's an amazing book. It has a lot to do with space travel and the whole concept of technology. Kind of what we're talking about, but where would it be and what would it be like?
Yeah.
But yeah, like so as soon as I'm gonna, he actually called me just before the show, or actually a minute before we started, and I'm gonna ask him about this whole brain chip technology.
That's another one. I'm about to do podcasts. I did a whole bunch. I am obsessed with Titan, which is Saturn's largest moon, and like, what would it's this alternate universe, like, it's weird. It's bizarro world. There's no oxygen there, but there's lakes, there's oceans, but it's like liquid methane and ethane. And like, what would a creature look like if you went there? Like when raindrops fall because of the gravity of it, it's like slow. And then when it hits the ground, it's like a big puddle. So it'd be like a weird, trippy world. And MIT did a whole like study on what a creature would look like and function like on Titan. Like they would kind of have to be made of plastic. Like it's the coolest thing.
I'm gonna check it out. Send me the links to all this stuff. I am so stoked. Oh, speaking of links, before we wrap it up, I'd really love for you to tell our listeners, how do we get into contact with you and how do we support you?
Great. Thank you. Yes. So YouTube is Space Warrior X, or I think you can find me at Lisa LaBelle. And that's the L4 podcast. That's a video podcast. I'm also on Spotify, or you can just listen on wherever you get your podcast, Apple or whatever, iHeartRadio. And then my socials, the handle for all of those, Instagram, TikTok, X, is Space Warrior X. And I do improv as well. And so I have an upcoming improv show at the Woodstock Theater tomorrow at 7:30. And also, I will be in All the Laughs Comedy Festival, and that is on September 26th. I'm doing some of my technology comedy, and then I'll be hosting a panel with two filmmakers that they have AI technology like workflows for directors and actors to use when they make films. So it will be interesting.
Super stoked.
But thank you. That's here in Atlanta, the All the Laughs. So I am based out of Atlanta.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And
Thank
for
you.
listeners today, what would you like to leave our listeners off on?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I just well, oh my. I feel like I'm in a chair and I'm hooked up to, I don't know, something that's going to zap me if I say the wrong thing. No, I just would like the listeners to have a light heart when they think about I would like for them to be optimistic, thinking about this new world of technology and space travel. And even if you don't like it, listen to our podcasts like Joey's podcast and mine, or even others that talk optimistically about the future, because I really think that is it's important to have hope. Have hope for a brighter, just like something to look forward to.